When it comes to getting money's worth out of anything, people either look at the quantity or the quality. Would you rather spend $500 for a whole set of JHS pedal? JHS. Would you rather spend $500 for a whole set of JHS Series 3 pedals, or $500 for a Strymon Big Sky or another similarly priced pedal? $500 is a lot of money. You can either get a lot or you can get something good. Something really nice. There is no right answer to this, because it also depends on what you need and what you're looking for. Are you a beginner who has nothing and needs a whole rig? Or are you a player for your Christian evangelical Hillsong megachurch worship band that plays 3 or 4 chords for a congregation of only 50 people who also happens to have a lot of spare change? Even despite these stereotypes and expectations, a beginner is completely free to spend $500 on a Strymon, and of course someone who has been a seasoned pro for years can also go ahead and buy a whole pedal board of effects for the same amount of money. There's an objective sign and a subjective sign that you are not getting your money's worth from your guitar pedals. Looking at it from a purely objective side, ignoring completely if you love it or not, if you can't find a use case for more than 25% of the functions in a practical way, or you only use 1 or 2 of its functions, then you probably haven't gotten your money's worth out of it. However, to play devil's advocate, some pedals might only have a couple of usable sounds even if they have a generally large number of functions, sounds, and settings. Excuse my language, but most of them can be dog. If you do find you can personally use at least 75% of the functions, then I'd say you've spent your Benjamins well. But what about the complete opposite? You might be able to use all your pedals functions in useful ways, but you could still be the most regretful person and player on the planet. A good subjective sign is if you're not enjoying your pedal, and you keep trying to gaslight yourself that you are enjoying it despite having frequent thoughts of regret or selling it. At this point, you probably haven't gotten your money's worth in terms of enjoyment. Now, at this point, how do we address both? Let's cover 3 solutions. 1. If you do currently own pedals and related more to the objective sign, I'm not telling you outright that you wasted your money on your pedal, because if you're having fun using only 1 or 2 functions of your massive DSP metal brick of a pedal, great. That's great, because guitar and music is all about having fun. Getting other people involved is optional, but is also highly recommended. With your pedal, you haven't wasted your money. All you've made is an investment with a low ROI. But don't worry if you're still distraught over this paradigm shift, because I have good news for you. You can easily increase your ROI by watching tutorials and demos of your pedal, and you could even just mess and play around with all the functions. You'll probably find at least one new thing or setting that you like a lot. Through this, you can make your purchase more worth the money you spent on it without losing the joy that originally came with buying your pedal. You'll be using more of your pedal in terms of quantity of features, and it will increase the quality of your enjoyment with that pedal. I want to make you also aware of the fact that sometimes us guitar players will spend unnecessarily more money for features that we won't even consider to use just because it's brand new or hyped up, or because it's from a brand you really like, or because it looks pretty, or because the official sound demos for it sounded beyond amazing. I would have fallen victim to many pedals if I had the cash when being tempted by them. For example, the Chase Habit, the Boss DM101, and the Klon KTR. These have been some of these pedals for me, and there's so many more that I don't want to mention out of shame. So don't feel bad if you did succumb to all the late-stage capitalism impulsively, because it happens to everyone, even people who aren't guitar players. The important thing is to make sure it just doesn't happen again. 2. If you related more to the subjective sign, that is, if you can currently use all or most of your pedal's functions in a useful way, often in your playing life, but you still feel unsatisfied, try using your pedal in a new context. For example, learn a new song and see in what ways you can use your pedal even if the effect isn't used in the song or the riff you learn. Or try use your pedal for a song you already know how to play that you've never used the pedal for before. Like for example, what would Rhinestone Cowboy sound like with a metal distortion? Or what would Fake Plastic Trees sound like with an ambient delay and reverb pedal? Try a bunch of things you think will not work. You might be surprised by how nice some songs sound with effects that were never originally used in studio or live recordings. 3. If you're considering buying a new pedal, before you rush to buy, take a step back and think about which of the features you'd realistically actually use in your day-to-day playing life. If it costs more, it's more likely to be an investment and you won't need to buy another pedal for months or most likely years. You have to ask yourself questions about it. This is an easy but fine balancing game to play. It's important to think about what you'll realistically be doing in the future as a player too. The time frame for this is codependent and symbiotic with how much the pedal you're considering costs. By taking a step back or a breather, having that self-awareness to ask yourself, do I really need this pedal? You can save yourself so much more money, time, and energy down the line. Similarly, like what I said in my previous video about your dream guitar, which you should go check out if you haven't watched, by the way. Don't fall in love with the idea of a pedal. Do your research and actually see if all the bells and whistles are legit or not. Is it actually for you? A delay pedal like my Boss DD20 has about 10 types of rhythm subdivisions and up to 25 seconds of delay time, which sounds very impressive and honestly is. But if you're a country or blues player, do you really need all of that? The most you'll probably need is a slapback delay or a spring reverb. Maybe a hall reverb at most. If you did play country, a pedal like this would not be an investment in this context. It would be a complete waste of money. If you are considering learning other genres as a player, then don't make the purchases now. Only make these kind of purchases when you're completely sure this is something you want to get into. Say, at least a month or two into committing strongly into the new genre. Some time frame like that. By being mindful and making intentional purchases rather than impulsive ones, you won't have immense amounts of regret and you won't have to spend unnecessary amounts of time and energy trying to resell or trade it that you could be spending practicing and learning. Also money. You will save on money too in most cases. Thanks for watching. I hope you found this video helpful. Make sure you like and subscribe. Hit the bell icon so you don't miss another new video that I post. See you next time.